Tension mounts as the Social Democratic Front prepares to organize the National Elective Convention of the said political party in the chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon. Party officials in the economic capital Douala say that the political gathering would go on as planned despite threats from unknown individuals. Also in this newscast, we tell you how a medical doctor in the northwest region of the country cheats death after she was shot by security forces. That was today, according to local inhabitants. Plus, the sacked workers delegate at the Douala City Council, who embarked on a hunger strike since last week, have said that they are not ready to give up until their demands are met. Those are headlines. We shall be right back. Stay with us. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you so much for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. We are going to begin right away in politics. The members of the Social Democratic Front Party here in the economic capital Douala have said that the National Convention of the Social Democratic Front that was scheduled to begin on the 22nd of February 2018 would go on as planned. This comes after party officials received threats from unidentified individuals on the holding of the party. It should be noted that our reporter spoke with some party officials here in the economic capital Douala, precisely Celestin Jammeh, that is a party official, as well as the mayor for the Douala's Free Subdivision. Precisely Celestin Jammeh, that is a party official, as well as the mayor for the Douala's Free Subdivision, Job Phil Kwapnang. They indicated that they are ready to take part in the convention that is going to be taking place in the northwest region of Cameroon this in few days from now. That's going to be precisely on Thursday, on the 22nd of February 2018. It is under a very tense atmosphere. It should be noted that the SDF party is preparing to organize its elective national convention in Bamenda. The party had started receiving signals of possible disruption of the political gathering following the burning of the SDF banner announcing the event. In the midst of the increasing threats, the SDF chairman himself has described himself as a warrior who has refused to bow to any intimidation. Nijan Fundi, who wants to maintain his post of chairmanship at the Social Democratic Front Party, has said that he has never been a standing block, or stumbling block rather, to the Anglophone struggle, but unknown individuals have continued to call on the Social Democratic Front to postpone the convention or alter the venue. The SDF, it should be noted, postponed the convention at least 2 times last year, 2017, as a result of the current socio-political crisis rocking the 2 Anglophone regions of Cameroon. And ahead of the SDF convention built for Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon this Thursday, it should be noted that tension keeps increasing. A female medical doctor in Bamenda is currently receiving treatment to injuries that she sustained after she was shot this morning, reportedly by a police officer. The victim is called Dr. V. Dinganjo, and she reportedly received the bullet on board a taxi which was transporting her alongside other passengers. The driver, it should be noted, is said to have denied to hand the car documents for controller, the mobile rather, and instead took off in high speed. The doctor's condition is said to be stable. According to reports from our correspondent, the doctor's condition is said to be stable. According to reports from our correspondent in the northwest region of Cameroon, after the police officer shot indiscriminately, she's under intensive medical care in hospital. And those are the images of the situation that left inhabitants of Bamenda of the northwest region of Cameroon in total shock this Tuesday. And a remarkable phenomenon in the Anglophone regions hit by socio-political unrest for close to 2 years now is the emergence of outstanding youths who have or who want to empower some of theirs, seem to empower some other youths in their communities. One of them is Africa's top 5,000 youths who were selected during a ceremony that took place in Lagos, Nigeria recently. Mukete Davison stood out for devising strategies to empower youths whose education has so far been crippled as a result of the Anglophone crisis. Details with Derek Jato.
Mukete Davidson's effort to teach students even when schools were completely shut down in the southwest region has today ended him an international award.
The award is the Future African Leaders Award, what we call in short FALA. And the award is given to any youth across Africa, as long as you're an African doing something to impact your community instead of complaining.
In the midst of increasing tension and killings in the southwest region, Mukete Davidson was courageous enough to use a cable network based here in Buea and teach students while in their homes.
I want to fight the society for creating the problems and the challenges. That the Mentor Foundation myself took it and transformed the challenges and problems to opportunities.
An initiative of Mentors Foundation, as explained by Mr. Agbo Paul Agbo, the foundation president.
The award has come in as a challenge to us. You know, as a baby foundation, it is very lent. The award has come in as a challenge to us. You know, as a baby foundation, it is very difficult to start from the top. So in that line, we think that we have a lot to sacrifice for the public in the domain of education.
In this year's edition, over 5,000 youth were selected from 54 African countries, and among the final 10 winners in a ceremony that took place in Lagos, Nigeria, was Cameroon's Mukete Davidson. He brought the victory home and presented it to the Mentors Foundation team members.
And here in the economic capital, Douala, we bring you updates on the situation of the dismissed workers delegate at the Douala City Council that have continued to say that they are ready to do all it takes to get themselves integrated and their 11-month salaries owed them by the City Council paid. They began a hunger strike. It should be noted that was last week, which entered second week yesterday, Monday. At least 3 of the striking workers of the Douala City Council, it should be noted, were transferred to hospital for medical attention after they have been for days without food and water. Details with Innocent Aze.
It is now a week since the 10 personnel delegates at the Douala City Council began observing an infinite hunger strike for their reintegration and payment of their 11-month salaries. They have promised to adapt or perish in the cause. A move which they say is better for employees in all sectors, which equally aims at sensitizing employers to be soft-hearted.
Ce combat que nous menons, c'est pas pour nous, c'est pour la postérité, c'est pour que une autorité ne se sente plus en.
2 of them had been hospitalized. The second, who developed a malaise, Friday is back to continue the hunger strike after receiving treatment.
À l'hôpital du district de Daïdo, où il a été sous soins intensifs et il a décidé de revenir sur le terrain malgré l'opposition.
This is the second week. The personnel delegates say they are now.
Revenir sur le terrain malgré l'opposition.
This is the second week. The personnel delegates say they are now in phase 2 of the hunger strike.
Passé le week-end ici.
We spent the weekend here. Our children came to visit us. We at least ate on Sunday in order to sustain phase 2 of the hunger strike that started this Monday.
Qui a commencé aujourd'hui. Donc nous sommes là.
Life has not been rosy to them.
Vous voyez la situation dans laquelle nous sommes.
They are wanted by their landlords, penniless, and face many other constraints.
Les enfants n'arrivent pas à aller à l'école.
While hoping the government delegates breaks the silence and take a positive decision, they continue the hunger strike with the little energy left in them.
And as we said a few minutes ago, the chairman of the Social Democratic Front Party has said that the National Elective Convention of the party would hold by hook or by crook. His firm declaration comes after persisting threats from unknown persons to disrupt the Bamenda gathering due to begin February 22nd. That's going to be Thursday this week. In the second part of this newscast, Celestine Jamin, an official of the Social Democratic Front, is going to be our guest. We shall be right back in just a moment. Good evening to you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Celestine Jamin, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Mimi. Good evening for all your telespectators. Thank you very much for inviting me once more again in this newscast.
We should be thanking you for coming, Mr. Celestine. There is a lot of tension in Bamenda ahead of the National Elective Convention of the Social Democratic Front that will begin on the 22nd of February. What is the atmosphere as we speak in the SDF as we prepare for your national convention as a party official?
What I can say that is the atmosphere is very hot at the moment in the Bamenda town. Atmosphere is very hot at the moment in the Bamenda town. But I want to say that once more again, to attack the residence of our national chairman or to burn the banners, it is the method of hooligans and the coward. We will not accept that. We condemn it with the biggest energy. That should be said. Now, you know that this convention was scheduled once month ago now in the Bamenda. So to the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of this month. It's not a small group of individuals. We saw the terror and the terror and many disturbance in the town, which can condemn us to cancel this convention. We will hold this convention, as Chairman said a few hours ago. So many delegates come from east, far north, and north, littoral, and so on.
You seem to be talking like you know the brains behind the burning of the SDF banners.
You know that this supposed so-called Ambazonia, some people we required the name of Ambazonians, came a few months ago now to the German residence and tried to, to put an act we cannot be accepted. And now we know that the SDF is a principal party of the opposition. So I think that their aim, their goals is to disturb our convention. And we will not accept that because to disturb our convention. And we will not accept that because we postponed our convention now 3 or 4 times ago now. So this time, the 22nd, we will head our convention.
Why were you postponing the convention? It was because of the socio-political unrest in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon.
Yes, of course, you know that.
But is the situation normalized now for you to hold the national convention?
It's not normalized.
Or is it because of the political activities or the political calendar in Cameroon?
It's not completely
with future
normalized.
Elections?
It's not completely normalized because, as you know, there's still been a militarization of the town, and we will see many soldiers in the town, around the town, and there are a lot of insecurity. But I think that we are in the electoral year, and we need to stand our convention this year by any means necessary. So we found a area to stand it, and somebody think that the job is to disturb our convention. So we will not accept that.
Mr. Celestin Jammeh, this is not the only party gathering that has so far been banned by some unknown individuals. You remember how the 8th of December 2016 was in the northwest region of Cameroon, a planned CPDM gathering that transformed into a battleground. We saw how several persons were killed, many injured, and others arrested. Could the SDF not learn from the 8th of December 2016 incident?
Of course we have learned, because you observe that we are the only party on the field. We struggle against against the actions of those people. We refuse to the schools, girls and boys, to go to the school. We are the only party on the field. We put on the veritable act to say loud that veritable act to say loud that the SDF will not accept those acts against our children to return to the school. So many times we cannot see any other parties on the field. I want to say that very, very, very
loud. We have
loud.
a good number of political parties that have been going to the region, Mr. Celestin Jammeh. We have the other parties like the CPP political party. We have other political parties that have been visiting the regions.
Let me tell you that you saw our MPs, our deputy and our honorable senator on the field with the banners of the
party, of course.
Yes, of course. And you cannot see the other parties like SDF acting on the field since a long time. So that we think that we have a legitimacy to talk about this Anglophone crisis. Because now, I think that the problem of secession is not a matter of SDF. If the so-called ambassador want to claim their existence, they have to say, for instance, United Nations. They have to launch, a dialogue if they want.
But some of the plights of the English-speaking population had been taken into consideration by the Social Democratic Front. We saw demonstrations by SDF MPs and senators at the level of the National Assembly and the Senate during the November session of Parliament. What does this loggerheads, this disagreement between some yet-to-be-identified individuals and the Social Democratic Front, what does it mean to the party at this point in time? Remember how the actions of the SDF was hailed in November 2017.
Yeah, you know that we are a Social Democrat militant, a socialist party, so that we are listening to all the people, all the Cameroonians. What I want to say is that the SDF have nothing to have with, the SDF have nothing to have with secessionists. The SDF is nothing to have with the bad governance. So our permanent call is to interpel, to call the government to put on the inclusive dialogue. So since a month, because in any resolution we have taken at the neck, we always call Mr. Biya to put on the table the national dialogue.
And resolve the Anglophone crisis. Now, talking about security, as far as the National Elective Convention of the Social Democratic Front is concerned, what security measures have you been able to put in place, given that you are saying that delegates will come all over Cameroon as far as the Social Democratic Front party is concerned, party supporters and bigwigs will come from all the 10 regions of Cameroon? What are the security measures put in place? You know
that SDF has its proper security vanguards, as we know, since 28 years now. Anyway, we think that it's very important to call to the security forces to take all their responsibility, because the Constitution gives us the right to be guaranteed by the
guarantee.
Yeah, to guarantee. You know, the state have the duty is to guarantee the security of property and the people on the field in any way, in every way in the Cameroon. So the SDF is a national party. It's not an Anglophone party. It's a national party. So when the security of the militants or delegate is raised, I think that is the duty of the government to give us the security necessary.
The adequate security.
Yeah, adequate security.
Now, Mr. Celestin Jammeh, you are talking about the electoral system.
The security.
Now, Mr. Celestin Jammeh, you are talking about the electoral system of Cameroon that the SDF has always condemned through the electoral code that needs to be revised, and you are taking part in the senatorial elections that will be coming up on the 25th of March 2018. You have equally talked about the Anglophone crisis, the need for dialogue, and that the government has not been able up to now to listen to the plight of the people. Many are saying that a boycott of the senatorial election by the principal opposition party in Cameroon, like the Social Democratic Front, is going to be an embarrassment to the government and a proof to the international community that the elections are not inclusive. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, because you know that when the Constitution of 1996 put on the Senate, in the Senate, we have the first senatorial election at 2013.
Of course.
Yes, but the renewal of the councillors was necessary, but they did not. So now you know that the single voters is the councillors, but you know that the constitution required both the councillors and the regional councillors. So we think that now we took a resolution since 1999 which arranged that bad or good laws we will go to all elections, but it's not a caution you are giving to the government, because we think that the electoral campaign is the moment to talk to the Cameroonians, to speak to them, to speak them the language of truth and the justice, because the change is coming and we need the goodwill of all Cameroonians,
irrespective of the crooked electoral system.
Yes,
it
because we all knows that. We all knows that. But we go to the election, even the senatorial election. Yes, because we all knows that. We all knows that. But we go to the election, even the senatorial election, because I think it's a great moment to talk to all the Cameroonians about the situation of the country.
Now, Mr. Celestin Jammeh, you said today that you are bent on holding the National Convention of the SDF. Those were equally the words of the party's chairman in the northwest region of Cameroon. Many are curious to know what would happen exactly from the 22nd of February 2018 when the convention would begin in Bamenda.
Okay, you know that there is the end of the mandate of the NEC members. So our tradition, our constitution, require that every 4 years you have to renew the function of those NEC members. So the time is come to renew those functions. Secondly, I think that you know that you are a good journalist. You know that at the 24th of this month, we'll go to put on a designation of our official candidate to the presidential election.
That is certain.
So it's the first time our delegates we're going to face two conventions, extraordinary convention and ordinary convention. The two first days is to renew the organ of the party, the NEC members, and the last day is to choose to design our official candidate to the presidential election.
What about the chairmanship, the post of chairman?
He is candidate for the president of the party, as you know, for the chairman. So he's a single candidate for the moment.
For the post of chairmanship of the
yes.
Social Democratic Front. Now, it would take the delegates accredited to the convention to vote for the chairman, if I'm not mistaken. What does it take now to be a delegate, Mr. Celestin Jammeh?
You know that you have almost 2,200 delegates, almost, in convention. So that if there are other candidates after tomorrow, we will know who he orders candidate after tomorrow. We will know who is those candidates. On the function of national chairman, you have only chairman right now. So delegate they are going to choose, even is alone on the field. I think that our tradition as socialists and Democrat is to make sure that every delegate must have the right to vote, even if they are only a single candidate.
As a party supporter, you're an official of the Social Democratic Front. What would be your expectations as far as the voting or the putting in place designation of the flag bearer of the Social Democratic Front during the presidential election is concerned?
So, firstly,
what are your expectations?
I think that my hopes and my expectation is that everything going very, remain very calm and very positive during this convention. We think that this years is the years of the SDF. The Cameroon nation is not at all role. Mr. Biya is anyway. So we think that there are three candidates for the investiture. Dr. Forby, Honorable Vanham, Honorable Joshua aussi. So they are three talent comrades. So
a lot of stakes there, Mr. Celestin Jammeh. The stakes are very high.
Yes, it's very high because you have first the two first day to choose the first vice, the second vice, and so on. So after the last day, the other stake is to choose our candidate. So I think the first step would be very important. And the second, of course, we chose our candidate. But I want to say that Cameroonians are waiting for the change in Cameroon.
And the change too should begin in the STF.
Yeah, Cameroonians are waiting for the change in Cameroon.
And the change too should begin in the STF.
Yeah,
that is what
yes, of course,
expecting.
we still remain a party by which Cameroonians hope a veritable change in Cameroon.
Is Mr. Celestin Jammeh going in for any post in the SDF? Many are curious, they want to know.
You know that I was to the primaries of the 5th vice president, so we are acting that after tomorrow we will go to the struggle, and if my comrade elects me, I will be very happy to be the 5th vice president of the SDF. So for now, I'm very optimistic.
Only the outcome of the February convention of the SDF will tell. Thank you so much,
of course. Thank you very much for inviting me.
To our televiewers, it was equally a pleasure having you with us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.
Equinox